What's up, and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking about 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. This is Season 5, Episode 8, and the title of this episode is Hell Hath No Fury. Let's start off with Larissa. So Larissa hurries off the phone with Natalie because Eric is back home. She brings up everything to Eric, and the conversation goes from 0 to 100 too quick. I mean, like too quick, that I believe that they were low budget acting. Okay. Like for real. I honestly think that Eric believes that he's an actor or something. He didn't really hear her out or take accountability for his actions. He tells the camera crew that he and Larissa promised to overlook the past and things that happened when they were broke up. But if it did come back up at some point during their relationship, that they would talk about it like grown-ups. Larissa wants to know why he bashed her and talked about intimacy between them both. And his excuse is that they were broken up. This scene between them only makes me believe even more that Eric is loony. So these two have a bit of a screaming match and nothing is resolved. And next you see Larissa is calling Carmen. I'm so over Eric looking like a snapping turtle, okay? He know that he was wrong for calling Larissa Dolly Parton in her robe. Like, that was just too far. He was throwing major shade. We all know this. So it only proves that he cares nothing about her, but maybe likes the fact that she's on TV and he wants to be seen. How about when it was revealed that Eric was going over Colt and Debbie's crib, having drinks and playing with the cats plotting on Larissa? How about that? Comment down below your thoughts. Now, when they do their confessionals with the camera crew, Larissa is rolling her eyes half the time and they don't even look happy together. This may be an arrangement or an agreement that they have because without this drama, Larissa would have no storyline this season. Comment down below your thoughts and let's move on to Andrei and Elizabeth. So it's the next morning and Elizabeth and Andrei are having breakfast. They're discussing how the dinner went with their families. And, you remember when he was saying that, she was hormonal. Now he's blaming it on her drinking as to why she didn't speak up and vouch for him in regards to their daughter. Now, during this conversation, Andrei is trying to manipulate things and is telling her to tell her family that she is okay with him staying at home with the baby. Elizabeth says that Andrei has become too comfortable and that the baby can stay with her mom at this point. She wants the second wedding, but she doesn't want it if it's not going to be enjoyable. She feels like she's always put in the middle between her family and Andrei. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Kalani and Asuelu. So in this scene, Kalani and Asuelu go to this gift shop for his family, right? And since his family was pressuring them for money, she has decided to go with gifts instead. When they get in this gift shop, Asuelu is looking at prices and shopping like he has a full-time job. Okay. Asuelu is picking up cans of corned beef, which then he decides to pick up a larger can, which Kalani says was like $40. Kalani says that she thinks that it's a sweet gesture to get gifts instead because they're showing them that they're thinking of them, but still not breaking the bank doing so. Asuelu brings up his intentions on buying the gifts and says that they can give money too. He adds that he wants to give money to his family so that his relationship with them can be as tight as Kalani's is with her family. Now, Kalani challenges what he says, but then says, how much will buy your family's affection? And Asuelu says $1,000. Kalani tells him that is an unrealistic amount of money to give people, especially when he only works part-time. He claims the money would come from his pocket, that he would give them the money and God would make a way again. I'm sure that definitely isn't how it works. You have to be a good steward over your finances and take care of home first. I don't care what anybody says. No way this should be a topic of discussion. Kalani reveals that $1,000 is a month of Asuelu's work. She tells him $50 would be a good amount to give them and tells the camera crew that if that's a smack in the face, then maybe they deserve one. Listen, I get it may be a cultural thing and traditional, but he needs to be straight up and honest with his family. There's no way he can give them $1,000. He has a whole family and they come first before his mama and his sister. Kalani feels like it isn't cultural. She's starting to feel this way the more she talks to him, and that Asuelu is only trying to buy his family's love. Now, I need you all to comment down below in that comment section. What do you think about this scene with Kalani and Asuelu? Let's move on to Colt, Debbie, and Jess. So Colt, Debbie, and Jess are going to say their goodbyes to her family. And next, they will be headed to meet some of her friends. But in this scene, her family is very kind and gives them farewell gifts. Debbie is super shocked and surprised that Jess's family is nice to her after the drama at the dinner, but I guess she's never heard of killing with kindness. Yeah, she should try being more kind, then it wouldn't be so foreign to her when others are that way. Jess says that even though Debbie was rude with her and her family, it's a Brazilian tradition to give gifts to their guests. Before they arrive, Colt pulls Jess' father to the side. He wants to get his blessing to propose. The whole time, Debbie is trying to peg what they're talking about, okay? She's staring down, just trying to read lips, I'm sure. He gets her father's blessing, and once they get in the car, Jess says that she's sad because she may not see her family for 9-10 months, and Colt is like, or a year. And Debbie then chimes in saying, but your visa expires in 6 months. So don't you have to come back? Jess tells her that she has plans for more time in America. I honestly think that Jess and Colt already have plans, and the purpose of his trip to Brazil was for him to get her father's blessing. Debbie just wasn't included on those plans. Debbie tries to figure out what Colt was talking to Jess's father about, and Colt tells her that they were talking about football and sports. She says that if he wants her hand in marriage, that would be a terrible mistake, and she's going to do everything in her power to stop it. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Angela and Michael. So Angela and Michael go to the park and feed the animals, and Angela's scared to feed the monkeys. That was definitely me. Like, her scared to feed them things, I would have been doing the same thing, screaming, jumping, standing far away, because I'm just scary like that. So now during this scene, Angela decides that it's time to tell Michael about her most recent doctor's appointment, especially since the results are now in. Angela's still lying, saying that she can have a baby, okay? And Michael seems more concerned with the concept of him not getting a baby from her. That seems like he's more worried about that. Michael says being a father is one of the most important things to him. And Angela is very selfish because Michael can't even express his thoughts or feelings without her threatening him. She's like, if you don't love me enough to marry me without having a baby, then you're not the man for me. That's very selfish, because how do you expect a young man not to want kids? And it's easy for her to say because she has kids and grandchildren. She's basically lived her life. Michael already told her that if she can't have a baby, that he would want to have one with someone else. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Karine and Paul. So Karine and Paul are all settled in their new home. And at first, Karine seemed to like the place, but Paul says now he can tell that she's getting homesick and truly missing her family. On top of all of that, Paul still doesn't have a job. He claims that he's being turned down before he can even get an interview because of his record. Now, Paul in this scene invites his mom to a pet store just so that he can get her to pay for some dog food for his dogs. Now, you tell me, why does he have dogs when he can't even afford to take care of himself, his wife, or his infant son? His mom tells him that she wouldn't want to be with someone who was a deadbeat. She encourages him to step up and make something happen for his child. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Tania and Syngin. So Tania and Syngin are getting ready for their trip, and they will be flying to South Africa so Syngin can visit his family. But before they get there, they're driving to New York first. He says that he's excited for warm weather and drinking, etc. And Tania is concerned about Syngin's drinking and doesn't feel like she's being heard when she addresses those concerns to him. Syngin feels like she's nagging him and trying to control him, and he doesn't want to be told what to do. Now, as they were having this disagreement, the only thing I'm thinking is Syngin is going to get to South Africa, get wasted just to make her upset so that they can have an argument, and then he can tell her that he's staying in South Africa permanently. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how things pan out, but that's just what I'm thinking. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move back to Colt, Debbie, and Jess. So this time, Colt got separate rooms from his mother and even on different floors. Debbie heads to her room to plot, okay? She says that she is all alone. And I'm like, you invited yourself on this trip. So that's why you're alone. You should have stayed at home with the cats instead of being up Colt's behind. So Debbie FaceTimes with Vanessa because she's watching the cats, but also takes that opportunity to fill her in on Colt's relationship business. Let Colt tell it. Vanessa isn't that interested in a relationship with him, so I don't know why she's rolling her eyes when Debbie is mentioning Jess. Vanessa also encourages Debbie to put a stop to Colt's relationship with Jess. Debbie says that it's a bad relationship and she will do everything in her power to sabotage the relationship. Now, next thing we hear is a knock at the door, and it's Colt and Jess dressed up. So Debbie hurries and gets off the phone with Vanessa. Colt and Jess are headed out to meet some of Jess's friends, and Colt even invites his mother. Like, really? You're inviting your mom out to hang out with the young crowd? Okay, so she should have stayed home, in my opinion. This is just ridiculous, her being there. At first, Debbie turns down the invitation to go. She turns down the offer. And I feel like Jess then tells her to come along to be nice. And she probably still is somewhat trying to get Debbie to like her, probably at this point. Now, Debbie says okay to going out and then slides this right into there. She says, I talked to Vanessa and she said the cats are doing really good. Adding, she sent me a video you want to see. So Debbie knows exactly what she's doing because she's not even making eye contact with her son because she knows that she has ill intentions on presenting this information. Okay. She could have sent that video to Colt's phone, but she's stirring things up to cause problems between them. So this makes Jess extremely upset because Colt lied and told her that he was no longer in contact with Vanessa. Debbie starts chiming in as Vanessa is addressing Colt and yelling, talking about they're my cats and she was watching them for me, not Colt. And Debbie, in that smile when the producers wanted to know if she knew that Jess had an issue with Vanessa, just sneaky snake. Okay, so Jess believes that Colt and Vanessa are friends with benefits. This is what she is convinced, that's what's going on between them. And Debbie is over talking to Colt and chiming in, telling Jess that she needs to grow up. And to be honest, I wouldn't have sat in her hotel room and allowed her to be disrespectful to me and play her little games. I would have left and went to enjoy the evening with my friends and let him babysit his mother. I'm sure they would be just fine sitting right in that hotel looking right at each other. So Colt sits back on the couch and he's caressing his beard, squinting his eyes, while Debbie sits on the bed looking at him. They're both sickening to me, like for real. Comment down below your thoughts and let's move on to Kalani and Asuelu. So Kalani and Asuelu head to the airport, and after a long flight, as soon as they get to Washington, Asuelu wants to head straight to see his family. He seems to never care, never consider, or put his family first, because when the youngest baby starts screaming and crying, Kalani suggests that they go visit his family fresh thing like in the morning, but Asuelu is cursing and having a tantrum because he wants to go that night. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Tania and Syngin. So Tania and Syngin have been arguing, so the vibe isn't right between them. But Syngin is ready to catch this 14-hour flight to see his family in South Africa. How about Tania sipping that tea and making all of those noises? Like, talk about annoying, okay? I was like, okay, girl, it ain't never been that serious. I was convinced that she was doing that to annoy him. So he says that his biggest fear is for his family to see them have an argument. Syngin about made me want to throw up and sit when he was standing barefoot in the airplane. Barefoot. the germs. Oh my God, that's all I could think of. So moving forward, waiting at the airport is Syngin mom and sister. Syngin is so happy to be home, and his excitement has Tania side-eyeing him, okay? She's telling him to pace himself, and it's like, you don't have to be too excited. Comment down below your thoughts, and let's move on to Larissa. So Larissa's headed to Carmen's house to talk to her, and I bet it's to see if she can come back or talk to her about her problems. As soon as she gets there, she starts dumping it all off on Carmen. And really, if I was Carmen, I would have said to Larissa, I'm really tired of the drama, and that was one of the reasons why I kicked you out of my house. So don't bring that mess to my house, please. You wanted to be with the dude, so figure it out. The whole time, Carmen has the I told you so look on her face and even tells her, I told you so. While they're talking, Larissa gets a call from Eric's roommate talking about a phone. So Larissa says the phone is hers and she allowed Eric to use it. The roommate says something along the lines that Eric could call the cops and report the phone stolen. Larissa tells him to go ahead and hangs the phone up on him. They soon hear the doorbell. She's all scared now, thinking that it's the cops at the door. She could have stayed right with Carmen and been stress-free. She is so foolish. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Angela and Michael. So Angela calls her doctor and wants Michael by her side, but is nervous because she doesn't know what her results are from this biopsy. Surprisingly, everything came back well, and I'm happy that she's well, but I'm surprised about her blood work because Angela doesn't take great care of herself. She doesn't take great care of her body. Let's just be honest. I mean, look, the doctor even had to tell her to stop smoking because she lit up a cigarette right in front of the doctor. So, you know, and even Angela said out her own mouth, she doesn't eat well. So I was kind of surprised that her blood work was good. But again, let me say this again. I am glad that she's well and that there's no C word going on for her. So that is a really great report. So Angela then takes the time to inquire about if she can get pregnant, and the doctor tells her that it's a high risk. It's obvious that Michael would prefer not to marry Angela if she can't have a baby, but he just doesn't want to come out and tell her that because, number one, he knows that she'll call everything off and walk away. Two, he's come this far and wants to see if his visa will be approved and if it'll finally get approved, if it'll ever get approved. So Angela says that Michael needs to know if he wants her more than he wants a baby. And I think that's just so unfair. Comment down below your thoughts, and let's move on to Tania and Syngin. So Syngin goes out to spend the day with his mom and sister without Tania. Tania is resting back at the Airbnb, and he heads out to get groceries for dinner with his mom and sister. So his mom tells him that she really missed him, adding that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. His sister says that Syngin has always been an outgoing person, but she's never saw him in a serious relationship. So she feels that they should have waited some time before getting married. So Syngin ends up sharing with his mother and sister about some of his and Tanya's differences, right? And his mother chimes in that Tania is quite demanding at times. I think had they not done this show, they wouldn't have made it to marriage. They probably wouldn't even be together. These two butt heads so much, and it's obvious that they just want two different things out of life. Like, they're not even on the same page. I don't even know why they're still going at it, to be honest. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Andrei and Elizabeth. So they're all going out to hang out with Andrei's friends. And at this dinner, Elizabeth's dad and brother are determined to get more info on Andrei's past. They question his friends and brother on his past, right? They just really want to know. It's obvious that he is hiding something, but it truly is his business. And if he doesn't choose to share that, that is his right. Okay, I would say that in anybody's case. Everybody has a past. And if I don't want to share those parts with you, I don't have to. As much as they're interested in knowing, I'm truly surprised that they didn't do a background check on him when he first came to America before they even got married the first time. Now it makes sense why Andrei won't work for Chuck, because he's afraid that he'll do a background check and find out about his past. He may possibly have a criminal record. Now, the more they pry, the more aggressive Andrei gets. He gets very upset, telling Elizabeth's brother to shut up, and he's cussing him out. And they're going back and forth with Elizabeth in the middle, right in the middle of them. Now, Andrei tells him, let's go outside. And next thing you see is these two pushing each other, and Andrei's friends and family trying to pull them apart. Comment down below your thoughts and let me know what you thought all about 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. This was season 5, episode 8. And the title of this episode again was Hell Hath No Fury. Let me know your thoughts in that comment section down below. I look forward to hearing from all of you. As always, give this video a big thumbs up. Share with a friend who also loves watching 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified on the next time I make an upload. And I truly appreciate all of your patience with me. I am behind. From time to time, that does happen to me, but I am still trying to push these videos out and get this content up for you all. So I hope that you still, even if it is old to you and you've already seen it, I hope you still will watch, listen, enjoy, and strike some conversation up with me in that comment section below, letting me know about your thoughts on this episode. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.